Since the commercial pop music world has come to be dominated by electronically based artists and hip-hop influence, what used to be mainstream rock, country, soul, and blues have been lumped under the rubric roots music or Americana. There are the different strains coming from those different genres, but not a lot of current bands mix up the styles, with many of them trying instead to be as authentic as possible to an original style. This week we have an interesting project that includes influences from earlier generations of rock, plus some occasional country, blues, and a little folk music. The new project is called 400 Bears, which is both the album and the group name. 400 Bears is basically the work of Philadelphia area musician Paul Wilkinson, who has been for 15 years a key part of the well-regarded roots rock band Mason Porter, who have been known for bringing bluegrass influence into their music. Wilkinson enlists some different musicians for 400 Bears and draws on more of his influences. He credits his parents' record collection, which introduced him to Bob Dylan, the Grateful Dead, Doc Watson, and Bill Monroe. The new album incorporates some of those influences, including a little bluegrass and country influence with a prominent dobro, but there is also a good helping of the blues, a solo track with a folky acoustic guitar accompaniment, a traditional folk song given a kind of spacey jam setting, and a song with an African-American gospel groove. The tasteful band on the album includes Scott Coulter on keyboards, including organ prominently, Brad Hinton on dobro and pedal steel guitar, Charlie Munch on bass, and 3 drummers alternating, including Mason Porter drummer Josh Steingard, and a veteran of our Homegrown Music series, Glenn Farrakhan, who also co-produced, recorded, and mixed the album. Leader Wilkinson is heard on guitar and did lead vocals. Though the songs are not particularly profound lyrically, the songwriting is high quality, and the group is versatile in the way that allows them to switch influences from one track to the next, which also keeps the album interesting. 400 Bears opens with a track that is typical of the high-quality, rootsy material the band has to offer, Borderline. There's almost a country beat, but Scott Coulter's organ evokes gospel.
I've seen a face makes the sun shine. I see it sometimes. I've seen a face makes the sun shine. I'm borderline.
The transition from that track to the next is a good example of the album's diverse sound. Memories is a minor key, slightly jazzy-influenced blues that's a definite highlight of the album.
I got a fever, caught from a stone-cold believer. He spins romantic tales from days of yore. Tomorrow you'll feel like you did before. Am I making memories, or are my memories making me?
From there, the record jumps into honky-tonk country for Holy Place, which reflects on home and life in general.
I got my shoes on the wrong feet, my socks on upside down. Tried to get myself to the city, but I wound up in the town. It's a holy place where things come and go. Got trouble with my Wi-Fi, but my stereo is hi-fi. I got Johnny at Folsom Prison. There ain't no thing that I'm missing. It's a holy place where things come and go.
Wilkinson and 400 Bears serve a straight-out slow blues tune on the track Cold Situation, which is notable for its acoustic instrumentation. Lyrically, it's a typical lost love blues song, but it's nicely done.
I've got a cold situation in my heart tonight. Cold situation in my heart tonight. If my I would feel alright.
Back in the early days of rock and roll, for artists like Chuck Berry and the Beach Boys, cars were a favorite song topic. 400 Bears has a fun automotive ditty called 80s Mercedes, which instead of being given a rock and roll beat is done as a great danceable boogaloo.
Got dents in the door, holes in the floor. If you think you see rust, there's a whole lot more. Said we're talking about my 80s Mercedes, driving all the ladies crazy in my 80s Mercedes. There's new brake pads in my back seat. I got water dripping down onto my feet. Said we're talking about my 80s Mercedes.
Wilkinson pays tribute to life outside the big city in a tune called Small Town, which is an example of the clever stylistic mix on the album. It combines a twangy country-influenced guitar with the gospel-flavored organ.
In a small town, got churches all around, bars on every corner help you on your way down. In a small town, ain't no turning round. Ain't nothing like living in a small town.
A further departure is the track called Annie Hall, which Wilkinson performs in a solo acoustic setting.
I've played checkers on a chessboard, would never play chess on a checkerboard. Played games that went into overtime, played a game of risk that still might end sometime. Going to bed, it's kinda like the end times, for who knows what tomorrow knows. What's good in saying I should? If I saw the light, then maybe I would. If I could, would I be that good? Walking down the line telling everyone I'm fine in your neighborhood.
400 Bears also features a solo resonator guitar instrumental called Good Bear, which is a bit reminiscent of the style of Leo Kottke. It's another nice part of the mosaic that is this album. The recording ends with the traditional folk song Take This Hammer, and the mood turns to the atmospheric with spacey steel guitar work.
Take this hammer, carry it to the captain. Take this hammer, carry it to the captain. Take this hammer, carry it to the captain. Tell them I'm gone. Tell them I'm gone.
Later on, the 9-minute track becomes a kind of psychedelic jam. 400 Bears, the eponymous album by the project called 400 Bears, is essentially the first solo album by Paul Wilkinson of the band Mason Porter. It's a high-quality and rather eclectic mix of the components spanning the roots music world, classic rock, folk, blues, a bit of gospel, and a soupçon of psychedelia. It's all very tastefully done, and the variety and flow of the album makes for more interesting and engaging listening. The album earns a grade A for audio quality, with a clean, crisp mix with nice clarity and better-than-average dynamic range. The roots rock scene is certainly thriving in an era when mainstream commercial pop has diverged so far from the music's founding influences. Paul Wilkinson and his 400 Bears project are the epitome of doing roots rock right. This is George Graham.